here's what we're going to go over today. Sorry about that, everyone. Just some stuff we were working on the last day or two that you needed an update on that stuff. How's it going, Tony?
Good, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. I am doing good. How's getting ready to sell and all the stuff you're doing? You staying busy?
Well, I had to leave the house for a showing this morning, so I'm heading on here. Sitting in my truck right now on my pad.
You know what? Once you get going on this stuff and you start working in the field, you'll realize that truck is going to double as an office.
Oh yeah. That's why I can't wait till they get the wraps designed.
Get the what?
The car wraps designed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that too. Like, is there, because I got a quote on what it's going to take to wrap my truck, but, you know, he's kind of gave me a ballpark. But I know that you guys have specific.
Yeah, what did he say? How much did he say?
He said top end about $3,000.
Yeah. So yeah, just to give you guys an update on that briefly. Yeah, it's the big challenge is we're actually running a designer contest. So we're going to have like, I don't know, 50 or 100 different ones to look at, to choose from, because it's one of those things that we don't want to, number one, it's got to be uniform. It's got to be right. It's got to be perfect. It has to be, like, we get one shot at it. It's not something you want to redo just for what you just said. I mean, it's $3,000, so you don't want to have to redo it. So we're taking a little extra time in trying to make sure that what we do have done is awesome, checking all the boxes. But I'm anticipating next week, sometime late next week, getting much closer on it. So, because one thing I will say, just being in solar and having that mobile billboard that you're driving, you're going to get leads. I'll share this with you guys, and I'm here corporately, so I'm not in the field selling. I was actually joking with Justin the other day about how I really wish I was actually out in the field selling, because it would be fun. But I was at Home Depot 3 days ago, and I walked in there. We're building a fence, and I walked in there to get a couple of boards for this fence and some more screws. And while I was in there, I walked by. They have an Ego electric battery pack powered snowblower, and I've got a big John Deere, snowblower that's sucking up a lot of space in my garages. And I thought, well, this might be cool. And plus, obviously, solar powered, I'll charge it, it'll basically charge it from my roof. So I was talking to the guy, and I mentioned, well, it works out perfect because, it's electric, obviously, and I've got solar, and I'm just going to have my roof charging. And there was another Home Depot person that was like within earshot. She was loading shelves, and she goes, "Where did you get your solar? I've been looking for solar. I was thinking about getting it." And I said, "Oh, well, that's just what we do." And she's like, "Oh, well, do you have a card?" And I'm like, kind of embarrassed. I don't have a card because I'm not selling. I don't have a card even. So, and I'm standing there in, muddy, and, I'm scruffy because I've been out working in the backyard building this fence. But my point is just, look, this is a numbers game. I mean, people are looking, people are on to what we're doing as far as the value of solar now. And it's just a matter of being out there. You're gonna find leads, or leads are gonna find you, especially if you're driving a mobile billboard.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Exactly.
The new markets, especially, well, everyone's in a new market. I think I keep saying the new markets, and really the only ones that aren't new is California and then like Jersey. Everything else is new. So they're all new. what we're doing today, guys, thanks for that, Larry, by the way. What we're doing today is we're going to go through the process A to Z on a deal, okay? We're not necessarily going to dig into the deep details, but I mean on the proposal, I'll pull one up, but we're going to go through the process, like the skeleton A to Z. What are the steps? Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. How do I get from the first part to the second part, from the second part to the third part to the end, right? How do I move through each step? That's what we want to go over today. So this is going to pick up where we already have usage. We put together the information, and now it's like the sales appointment. Okay, does this make sense?
Yes, sir.
Well, let's say that you have to actually get usage while you're there. Let's instead of making it easy, let's make it a little bit more complicated. Okay, that'll be better. A little bit more complicated. You have an appointment. You go to the house, right? This is the very first thing you do when you get there is, and this is an appointment. We're not talking about generating leads right now. Okay, this is an appointment. You show up. This is step 1. Okay, step 1. You're going to establish the tone for the whole rest of the time right now. Okay, so you're going to establish the tone. Now, we don't necessarily get to establish the tone or the feeling of the meeting just by broadcasting it. We don't get to just be super excited and then it's an exciting thing. They might be looking at us like we're just clowns, right? So the first question is, and you guys should be used to this by now. I get my answers by asking questions. How do we set the tone? How do we immediately know who we're talking to and how we're going to talk to them and get them what they want? Who are we talking to? Meaning, what's the personality type? How do we know what they want? How do we figure those out and set the tone for how we're going to go? What are you guys' suggestions? This is all review stuff, and we're going to put it all together, okay, into one process. So step 1, establish the tone.
Yep. John and Mary, what's the biggest reason why you had me come back out here?
Okay, there it is. Did everybody hear that? Because step 1 is a question, and it's a question that has to be. It's not a pick from a bunch of questions. It is a question, and Joe just said it. Hey, what is the main reason you had me come? Hey, there's a lot of other solar people out there. Hey, what's the main reason you had me come? There's all kinds of other ways to save money. You get insulation or something. Like, what's the main reason you had me come? Step 1, set the tone. Write that question down. That is step 1. What's the main reason you had me come? Now, we already know we're going to go to the next steps. We're going to get usage. We're going to do a proposal. We know we're going to do that. This question tells us how we're going to do it, or in what is kind of the feeling of the way we get there, right? We might know from that question that it's just time to jump right in. Okay, great. I'm here because you want solar? Okay, let's get started, right? You're here because you're trying to learn about it or whatever. Okay, let's go from there. You're going to find out what it is, okay? No matter what the answer is, that's the first question. You guys all got that? What are you gonna say, Joe?
I was gonna say whatever they say, I would recommend you repeat it back and you say, "Oh, well, why is that important to you?"
100%.
You know, just kind of tie it back and get them to talk more. So if they say save money, and say, "Oh, okay, so the main reason by you had me come back here is because you're hoping that you could save money by going solar. Is that right?" And they go, "Yeah." And you say, "Well, what do you mean by that? Save money? Like, what does that look like?" And then, you know, whatever they say to that, just be like, "Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Was there any other reasons why you had me come back out here?" And get all that stuff out.
100%. So this isn't part of that skeleton process, but it is something you'll hear from me time and time and time again. Go one more level. Take it one more level deep. Ask them a question, get an answer, and take it one step further. How do you mean exactly? Like, oh, I just wanted to know why exactly did you have me come here? What are you trying to make happen? Right? Well, you know, I've heard a lot of mixed things about solar, and I don't know. I guess maybe I just wanted to see if it's something that's actually a work or not. Oh, yeah, that makes total sense. But like, what exactly? Is there a certain thing that you heard?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I heard this exact, and now, you know, he'll tell you, or he'll say, no, I'm just kind of, great, you took it as far as you can. But most of the time, they'll go one more level with you. They'll give you the answer. You know, oh, what made that question come up? Why is that why you had me come? Well, you know, I had a buddy that said this and that. You get the whole story. That's what you want. Now you know. Now you know why you're there and how you're going to deal with this person, this situation. Did you have a question, Wally? Or you got?
I wanted to add something to it. It's really important that you don't assume his answer is her answer or her answer is his answer.
No.
You need to make sure you get the answers from both. And you want to lose a sale? That's the best way to lose a sale, is assume they're both wanting you there for the same reason.
Yes, that's actually a really great point. I'm glad you brought it up. If there's two decision makers there, you ask that same question to both. It's not you make sure they both answer, right?
And you're going to find out which one is more in tune to the financial aspects of it by which one's going to go get the bill.
And you'll find out right then if they're actually going to get it or not, because the wife will be like, I like it. That's why you're here. And if that's the answer, just be like, okay, let's make a phone call.
Yeah,
We're done.
You can ignore the husband.
If he says that, you better still go through the whole process with her sister, right? If she
you
says
got some work to do.
we're done.
Especially if her arms are folded across her chest.
Yeah. Yep. You've done a few appointments.
Yeah.
That's great. So step one, just ingrain this question in there. Hey, what is the main reason you had me come by? What do you want to accomplish? And I like to preface questions like that with, hey, let's just decide right now we're going to be authentic, and like, you know, you might just have me here to shop prices for your buddy who's starting a solar company. I don't know. What, you know, just we'll be authentic with each other. We'll give each other the real answers, and we will find something that helps you with whatever you're trying to do. Whatever it is. Right? And we'll get there. So they'll answer our question. We'll take it one more level, and always go one more level until they're like, I don't know. That's where you got there, right? And then the next thing is now to transition. You can ask them that right when you get there. When you get there, they might invite you in. And for brand new salespeople, you guys, that you'll be training, these are important things to hit on. They might stand on that porch for 30 minutes talking about why they're there. Okay, there comes a time where it's like, it's time to transition to the next step. Okay, we establish why we're here, what we're doing, get to the next step. You're gonna have to get some information, and you're gonna want to get that at the table. Okay, we had a training about transitions. This is where this comes into play. It's the next thing. If you're kind of standing at the door and they're kind of like, it's different right now than it was last year. It's different. If they're worried about getting sick because of COVID, or if that's a concern for them, there's still a transition to happen. Okay? You're going to say something. If it's time to make the move, like, I know why I'm here, here's what they want to accomplish, great. I do need to, before we get done, I'm going to need to take a picture of your meter and your main panel breaker. Is it easiest to get there going through or around? Do you have a gate, we go around, or do we go through? Assuming, are we going through your house or around to the side? Okay, all we did is break up that we're standing in one spot thing. We're just moving somewhere, okay? If we go through the house, that probably means they're okay with it. If we go around to the side, they're probably still nervous about you coming in, even though they invited you. So you go over there, take your pictures, tell them you'll meet them there or they'll come with you. And then you take your pictures and say, okay, typically we handle this just, kitchen table or whatever, but during the current climate, are you more comfortable, do you have a place you want to meet out here, or are you okay inside? What I used to do is say, do you want me to take off my shoes? And I would start to take off my shoes. And they would say, no, come in. Or, yeah, that's great, thanks, that's very polite. Nobody asks, come on in. It's one of those two things, you're going in. We just live in a different climate right now with the COVID thing. So just do you want to do this outside or inside? Outside, great. Let's find a table or a place to sit. Do you have a table or anything, right? But make the transition, outside or inside. We're going somewhere to talk about this, right? So that's number 2, is make the transition from first meeting, why am I here? Tell me why, what you're trying to get. The next thing, transition. The best way to do that transition is to go take a picture of the meter. You guys got that? This immediately makes you a professional in their mind. Like, hey, I got to go look at your electrical meter. Like, oh, this guy's like an inspector. That's what happens in their brain. Like, he knows how to look at an electrical meter.
So is this from like a door-to-door approach, or is this from you already had an appointment set up?
This method can be used at both, but we're talking about as if it was already an appointment.
Okay.
Okay. And the reason why it feels a little door-to-door is because instead of us going to an appointment where we already have the bill and the information, I'm saying we don't have it yet. Take it A to Z, right? So let's say it's an appointment, you show up. Hey, I'm here on time. Hey, quick question before we get started. I'm just wondering, what's the main reason you had me come out? Like, what prompted you to have this appointment? I mean, your time's important, right? Get that answer. Oh, go one level deep. Let them answer it. On an appointment, most of the time, right when you get there, they're going to say, oh, come on in, right? But I want you to just keep the step in place, because they might go right in and say, have a seat, and you sit on the couch. You don't want to be on the couch. Okay, great. This is great. Why did you have me come here? Right? Get the answer. Step 2, get where you need to go, which is at a table somewhere. Okay, kitchen table is what you want. But if they want to meet outside, meet at a table outside. The way you get there, really, go to the meter, cause some movement, take a picture, and then say, you want to meet me on that back patio, or I'll meet you at the kitchen table, whatever. If they're going back, if they started you at the couch as you walk, if they started you at the couch try to walk past the kitchen table on your way out to the meter. You're going to set something down. Hey, do you mind if I set this here? You're going to set it on the kitchen table. Go out, take your pictures, come back. It's sitting there. You walk right to it and say, oh, do you mind if we have a seat? You start sitting down. You're there, okay? Why am I here? Get the question answered. Number 2, move to where you need to get. It's a table. Got that? The way you move is the transition I said. Just, I got to take a picture of this thing. I got to look at that. Just start moving. You guys got that?
Yep.
So that's step 2. Move and have them come with you. Be like, yeah, come on, I'll show you. Have them come. Don't just leave and don't have them stand on the porch while you go do that and then come back. You kill the purpose of the transition if you do that. You say, come with me. Use your body language. Come on, I'm going to show you what we're looking at here. They'll come. I guarantee you every time. Oh, okay, they'll just follow you. Okay? Step 1, get the question answered. Step 2, move. Get where you need to go. Okay? Now you're at the table. I don't care if it's outside or inside. If it was a set appointment, they should know you're going to be asking for a bill. I hope when you set the appointment, say, hey, make sure you have a bill handy. Let's say they forgot. Let's just throw all the speed bumps. Oh, I forgot. I'm supposed to get a bill. Let me ask my wife, did you pay the bill? Yeah, what'd you do with it? I threw it away. Oh, I needed that for this appointment. Like now this is going on, right? This will happen a lot, by the way. Oh, you threw it away? Yeah, hey guys, don't worry. Most people have it online now. Do you have it online? No? Okay, don't worry. I have the utility on speed dial. This happens all the time. Help them feel comfortable. This happens all the time. People always throw away their bills. They don't want them. They just want to pay them and get rid of them. They're like nasty germs. Just get them away, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to call the utility. They won't talk to me. They'll talk to you. We'll just tell them we need to get your usage and see if we can get how much you paid during those months. But eventually we're going to need an actual copy, okay? They're like, okay. Make the call. TC went over this on the franchisee call. He's done it now a few times. So call in. Hey, I need to get 12 months usage for these people. Who is it? Here, you hand the phone to the customer. They'll ask their birthday, socials, last 4 of their socials, something like that. Write down the usage. You've got everything you need. Now what? You've got the information. You've got them. It's time to make a proposal. How do we make this part fast? Or how do we not lose the customer's attention span while we're trying to like make a proposal?
Questionnaire.
Questionnaire's literally the next step.
Okay.
But it's the questionnaire, and this is what I kind of automatically have all those questions. I wrote it, right? So, but if you're new, make that step 3. If you, TC, say that again.
What'd you say? Make step 3?
The questionnaire.
Oh, okay.
If you don't have all those questions in your mind and you can't, like I kind of do it naturally. I've been doing this so long. I ask these questions while we're doing whatever. And I can sit and with my thumbs make a proposal while we're talking about that stuff. You can ask Joe. He got over an hour out of it.
Oh yeah, through that questionnaire. This questionnaire that I have on my clipboard.
That one.
Yeah.
So Joe, here's what I was saying is step 3. You get the information from the utility, and now you got to build a proposal. And if it feels like it's going to take a minute to build that thing out, the next step is the questionnaire, right? This is going to go faster than me explaining it, by the way. It took me way longer to explain, go to the meter, take pictures, here's why you're doing that, than it does to do it. It takes 1 minute to walk over there, take some pictures, and go sit at the table. Like, it's not a time taker. Call, and then if they have their bill, get it. If they don't, call. I would even say, if they do have it, a lot of times I'll call anyways. Why do I do that, TC?
Why do you call anyway?
Even if they have their bill, why do I still call?
Because it makes it 100 times easier and saves a lot of time.
It's so fast, and there's no guessing. It's 100% accurate. And I use their bill as my notes. Like the little graph, I write the numbers on there, and then I take a picture of it. And then I give it to them. I'm like, here's your notes. Now you know now you know what's going on here.
And they'll ask for it too. That's the funny thing. Like the business that I just did, he said, can I have a copy of that? And it's like, oh, you're just going to leave. I'm just going to take a picture of it. It's like, oh.
Yeah, no, they will remember that their brain will start to figure out, oh, I am buying some things. I'm buying a whole bunch of little things because you're writing these numbers down. You're going to help them understand that, right? So now the questionnaire comes out, and this is where we just flush out everything. I actually thought about adding a question. I'm not going to do this, by the way, but I thought about it. I'm not going to do it for the sake of brand new people, but I thought about it for you guys, and I was thinking about putting a question on there, which is, what are like the silly or negative things you may have already heard about this? And just starting with it and letting them get out whatever weird thing they've learned. Go ahead, Joe.
That's how I start every time I sit down in front of somebody before I go through one of these. That's the first question I ask. I was like, hey, obviously you guys had me out here because, and then I remind them why they told me in the beginning, because I'm here to save money or you wanted some information or whatever. And then I'll say, let me ask you guys, what are some of the reasons why you think you might not want to go solar? And I'll just shut up and let them talk. And if they go, it's just, it all comes down to money, or I heard this, or I heard that, and then I'll try to dispel that, or figure out what that big objection is, just get that snake taken care of.
Right. And for the people on this call, you can use it. If it's a new salesperson, they're not ready for that yet, Joe. they're just give them the questionnaire and let them find all the positive, right? They're not quite, if they're brand new, they might not quite be ready for whatever that is. They'll just come, that'll be the end of the appointment. They'll be like, oh, they don't know enough yet about what they're doing. They'll come out and they'll be like, Joe, did you know solar actually didn't help people? It really ripped them off. Did you know that? You'll be like, yeah, I knew that. I knew that it's happened in the past. Here's how you handle that, right? So we don't want to, it'll work for people that have done appointments, but if they're brand new, that's why I have left that off. Because if they're brand new, their appointment will end right there. They won't. I know this from experience. They'll come out and they'll be like, dude, this guy's brother got solar and he pays more and he thought it was less. So I figured I'd come talk to you about it. So that's what we want to avoid. But yeah, I would pull everything out, do the questionnaire. Now, while you're on the questionnaire, you have a ton of time to create a proposal. And when I say ton of time, when you get good at it, you will be able to do this fast And it is a way to get the customer interacting by the tool that we have. However, we have a new tool, and you can expect maybe you'll go to do it and it'll say, you have to do a manual one for this house, or, you know, whatever. It's not going to work right now, or something. This is why we're on the questionnaire. So the customer just feels like it's all normal, right? If you say, hey, we're going to make a proposal now, and they'll be like, okay. And then you start going, you're like, oh man, this thing isn't working. Just give me a minute. This is not working for some reason. That's that's what would happen. So TC, step 3, questionnaire / proposal. Okay. If you find yourself stuck on step 2, coming back from the meter, and if they start asking you all these questions and you just get into this back and forth on questions and answers, guess what just happened?
They took
Lost
control.
control.
Yeah.
They're running the show now. Okay? If that starts happening, just bring it back. Hey, that's a great question. In fact, first, before we go down that road, let's make sure this is all viable. Here's what we do next. I've got some questions I want to ask you. I think some of the things you're asking me are actually going to come out in this. So let's go through it real quick. Take it back. But you're asking them questions, so they're still going to do all the talking. They're still going to feel like they're running the thing, right? And in that time, you're going to start building out the proposal. Does that make sense?
It does.
So I want you guys to write hard cues. Step 1. Ask them why am I here, right? Step 1. What do you had me here for a reason. What was the main reason you had me come by? That is step 1. Get that out. Step 2, get where you need to go. Use the transition of I need to take some pictures and then get there. Step 3 is, step 3 is getting the utility info. Hopefully you already have it, but if you don't, it's getting that, and it's the questionnaire and building a proposal. That's all step 3, okay? We just don't want to do a thing where we're doing the ruler on the graph and they're like just watching us. If that is all I have to fall back on, a lot of times I'll tell them straight up. I'll be like, hey, I'm going to teach you how your bill works. This is going to take a little while. And in order for it to go faster, I'm going to have you do the calculator. And I'll teach you what all this means. And I'll get them involved. Or I'll say, look, if I can tell there's a timeline in place, or if we need to be done in 20 minutes, I'm going to make that happen. I'm going to say, hey, I have all the information I need, but it takes a while for me to make a good, legitimate report. I know you said we got to be done by this time, so I'll make the report. I'll be back. What's the best time? Will you be here tonight? I'm trying to go back today, by the way. I'm not waiting until next week. I'll come back. Oh, all you got to do is go get your kids from school? Great. How about go get them now? Go get them. Be comfortable. Don't like make me sit here and then you run out the door uncomfortably. I've got what I need. How about you go get your kids? I'll run and I'll crank these numbers and I'll be back in an hour. Let's do that. Like just control that, okay? Control that. But that's all part of step 3. Hopefully you have the usage. If you don't get it, do the questionnaire. The questionnaire is awesome, by the way. The questionnaire, and then you're working on the proposal. If everything goes right, by the time you're wrapping up the questionnaire, your proposal's done. Okay? So they just got done figuring out the very black and white nature of solar. Because you just asked them, do you like clean energy or do you like dirty energy? Do you like it to be less expensive or more expensive? Like, you just go through all this and then you bring the proposal, right? Go ahead, Joe.
So when my brother went out there to do his thing, I told him to go through the questionnaire, and he says, yeah. And I says, when you get done doing that questionnaire, before you show him the proposal, tell the homeowner, ask him, say, hey, could you initial this real quick so I can show my boss that I filled this out with you? And when they initial that, I mean, they look at it and they can see, yes, I already said that I would do this if it was affordable and blah, 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 blah. They really don't have a way, there's no backing out of it because they just initialed everything that we just filled out throughout that conversation. And for my brother, he said that having them sign it or initial it, he said that was really powerful.
Yeah, they had to. Yeah, anytime you get a pen to paper, that's a big agreement. Like that's something, right? That's a good idea. Great thing to teach your people as you train them up. And it might be good even just to get the initial and then say, well, this is your copy, and just take a picture. I just have to take this picture and send it into my company. I have my copy, that's your copy. Now they're staring at it. But it just makes it so black and white. Now, it's important to do that because now you're going to go through the proposal. The proposal is going to spark a few more questions. This is where they start asking, like, oh, wait a minute. What if I move? Like, oh, wait a minute. What if I, all of a sudden these things start coming out. That's good. You want it. And you'll handle them because everything is covered. It's very simple. And now that you've established how simple it is, you can always go back to how simple it is. Did that make sense? If we skip the questionnaire, you can't go back to that place. They didn't feel it, right? You got to take them back to like, hey, this is, oh, what happens if I move? Well, the good news is the way we do the financing on this stuff is like, you just either just sell it with your house. They will appraise your house with it and you sell it, and whatever you gained tax credit wise is pure profit, or you do a transfer agreement to the new people, and that's pretty easy too. All the things that we use are easily maneuverable if you sell your house. Believe it or not, we did think about this a little bit, knowing that these things go for a long time and you might move in 5 years. We absolutely thought about that, right? And the proposal will bring out all those type of details, and it'll give us a few answers as well. A lot of times during that thing, you'll learn like, ooh, these people need a service agreement. Like they might just be telling you a bunch of things that points that way. Like, okay, I'm going to make some adjustments. These guys they're going to move in 5 years. They're young. They don't want to hold debt. I see all these things stacking up. I better have a service agreement ready, right? Make a couple adjustments. These are things that happen hopefully right before the proposal, but you can do it during. And the cool thing about our thing is that's a couple clicks, right? And you're there. I lied. The service agreement is not on there yet. It's not a couple clicks. It will be though. If you need a service agreement, call me. That's the next step there. Just call me and I'll make one. Oh, Wally, that just jogged my memory on something. I need a utility bill for your house.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a copy of it, but I have that stuff ready. Anyways,
Yeah. Well, I was waiting on the PPA to be ready to go, but if we can do it, if you can write those two up, I'll get that other power bill.
Well, send it to me and that'll just make it so I can have it legitimately ready.
Okay.
Our in-house PPA was supposed to be the insurance company was going to try to finalize on it like a week ago, but they told us during that it was going to take another like 3 weeks or more. So that's why I'll send me your bill and we'll make one, and we'll either just copy it or you can use it. Anyways, side topic. So whoever's making the training videos off of these recordings, cut all that part out. It didn't count. So, but yeah, step 3 is the questionnaire. Get the proposal. The proposal's step 4. If you did the questionnaire well, the proposal is going to go pretty fast, because now all you're doing is giving the details behind a decision they've made. They're 90% of the way there. So you answered all the questions. Now you bring out the proposal. Like, hey, good news. If you stay on your current utility for the next 25 years, you're going to spend $30,000 more than if you actually do this. Like, doing nothing actually costs you more. You're paying for, you're not only paying for this, you're paying extra for it if you don't do anything. This is what the proposal says. Any of the details you want to know are in here. The kind of panels, the warranties, everything's warranted 25 years. Like, the proposal's all good news. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. It's like warranties, guarantees, everything's out of your hands. Like, you don't have to worry about anything. If this seems like it fits, you know, the stuff we went over on the questionnaire, then now we just convert it into an agreement, and you have your copy, I have mine, we wrap it up. I don't say it that way. I shouldn't have said this is a training. But I do take them through the proposal, and the proposal just becomes like information. It's just like, oh wow, okay. So that's how that works. When you told me that the clean energy costs the same or less than dirty energy, that's actually real. I just saw it on the proposal, right? And now, what are they going to ask for? What are they going to ask now? TC. What are they going to ask right now in this moment on the proposal?
How much does it cost?
There it is. Dude, be honest. How much do I really have to pay you? You don't. Like, you pay it in your bill. You already pay an electric bill. You're going to pay for it through a bill. Come on,
What's the
really?
catch? What's
What is
the
it really?
catch?
What's the catch? No,
What's the catch?
that's the catch, man. You still pay a bill. It just happens to be.
Yeah.
Oh, the catch. I need my sign in your yard for 6 months. And
Okay, there you go. You add whatever thing you want to add. That's fine.
The catch is it's up with me. You gotta see me.
Yeah. Well, the catch is I'm going to come back here a bunch of times, and I'm referral driven. So the catch is I'm going to have you spreading the word on this all over. That's the catch. Whatever the catch is. But this is when it comes up. Plan on it. Plan on it. And my favorite question, if you've ran a few appointments, you've probably heard this now. Why doesn't everyone do this then? If this is really how it is, why doesn't everyone do it? You will hear this all the time. It's my favorite question. Well, why didn't you do it yet? Well, I just didn't know. I didn't understand. Exactly. Most people just don't understand. And the other guys doing what I do out there, guess what? They don't even know how it works. Most of them. They're just there to give you like a plastic flyer and read it to you. Like, this is how it works. It's pretty cool, right? Right, yeah. The next step is I'll have you get ready to fill the stuff out. I can't guarantee any of this yet. There's still some applications and things. They will ask your information. And we killed that early with the question, not the questionnaire, but when we got their usage, right? The form, because they see the social and the birthday and everything on there. Remember that step. I didn't bring it up here because we were past it. But remember that you want them to see that. So now it's like, hey, we just got to do the application real quick. It's actually pretty easy. You start going. Make sure to spell your name right. Is this your address? Just to clarify your phone number, your email, blah, 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 blah. Start going. Okay. If you have done the body of it, if you've done step 1, 2, and 3 well, then instead of saying the next step is, that's step 4, by the way, the next step is, I'm sorry, step 5. Step 4 is the proposal. The next step is, and you just we need to write down your information and you start doing the paperwork. Okay. If you have done steps 1, 2, 3, and 4 very well, you can actually flip this and say, wow, I think we've really covered a lot of good stuff. I did what I said I would do and taught you how this works. If you have done a very, very good job, you can say, what would you think, what would you say is the next step? Now, I wouldn't recommend this to a new guy because that's a prompt for, I would say that I'll give it some thought and I'll call you. I'll probably do it tomorrow.
I gotta talk to my accountant. I gotta, yeah.
However, if you're seasoned enough and you're watching their body language and you did a really good job on the first 4 steps, they'll be like, well, the next step, I was ready to do this like 20 minutes ago. And you just kept talking. Okay? No, what I was doing is I was making sure you were at this point, right? What we want to teach and what we want to live right now is us saying, the next step is we just need to get this application done, blah, blah, blah. And just start going through it, okay? The next step is. However, as we get better and better at this, we'll monitor this, but you'll get to this world, this land where you'd be like, Mr. Customer, what do you think? What would you say then? What would you suggest the next step is? And they will every time. Well, yeah, no, we're ready. We're ready. Okay. If you've done the first 4 right, they'll do that. Okay. Don't teach your new people that. It'll kill it. But if you get the first 4 steps down good enough, that will happen. Okay. Joe, have you done that before? Have you used this before?
Well, usually what I'll do is talk about all the benefits and say, you can see why so many people want to go with this and blah, blah, blah. And I'll say best case scenario, as far as affordability, what would you guys guess we're going to end up? Now, I know we said we wanted to be right around this number, right around the same number that we're at. But I mean, realistically, what do you think we're at? And then they'll give me a number and I'll say, gosh, if we were there, everybody would do it. You'd probably jump on this right away, wouldn't you? And then they go, yeah. And you say, okay, well, we're actually a little bit better than that.
Okay, there's one question that I know you use, and I use it too, that I was hoping you would bring up right here.
Oh, well, anything stopping you?
Yeah, that's the one. Yep.
Yeah. If this was affordable and fit into your budget, would there be any other reservations other than money why you wouldn't want to go ahead and get this done?
Yep. If they answer that question affirmatively, then you say, well, then, what would you say is the next step? And they'll tell you, like, we want to get it.
If they answer that
so
question,
all we're doing here is now we're getting deep into this customer is not going to, you're not going to worry about this customer. They're like, you're cementing them in, because it'll take 6 weeks probably for this process to get done. Right? There's a lot of things that can happen between now and then. So all I'm teaching you right now is like the things that lock it down, right? And that's why I do it that way. Because if they have any reservation at the end, I want to find out what it is. If there's anything still pending back in their mind, I want to find out what it is, right? And try to kill it. Also at this time, when we say, okay, it's time to fill out the application and do all this stuff, we need to be diligent in knowing what we plan on using, knowing our products, because they're always changing. Processes move. I know Joe did one and he didn't even know, but there's like a phone, I think there's a phone call that needs to happen that he didn't know about it, right? He wouldn't have known. He would have had to dig deep to know about that. Not only that, but as things change, those processes change. Like it's something that isn't the same all the time. So we've always got to be paying attention to what we're using and knowing that it's coming, right? And then you just tell the customer, hey, we need to do some applications. I need to make a couple phone calls. They're going to want to talk to you, and just set that so they know what's happening next. and then you just go through it pretty quickly. Okay. But that is the process. That number 5 is the next step is we've got an application to fill out. And once that application goes, when you guys train your people, you'll have to get more in depth to this, but I think everyone on here has done paperwork. Once that paperwork starts, it's just initial here, sign there, we're done. Got to make a phone call. If you're in a place where we're going to schedule someone to come measure or do a site survey, you'll do that phone call right then. Those are being set up as we speak, by the way. I'm trying to push that they're everywhere. If you have to call a finance company, you'll do that phone call right then, and you'll breeze through that part of it pretty quick. Okay. If you've done step 1 through 4 right, there's not going to be many questions on the phone calls. They'll be like, okay, yeah, no, sounds good, right? But that's it, guys. 1 through 5. Here's what I want. Hopefully you have written down. Number 1. No, I'm going to have you tell me. What's number 1? Number 1 thing, bullet point.
Set the tone.
What's that?
Set the tone.
Set the tone. That is right. What question is attached to that?
Joe and Mary, what's the main reason you had me come by today?
What's the main reason you had me come here? What are you trying to make happen? Right? That's number 1. Number 2. What's number 2?
Get to the table. Transition.
Get where you got to go, right? Get to the table. That's number 2.
Picture.
Right? What's the easiest transition to naturally move around?
Let's go take some pictures.
Go take a picture of the meter. Go walk around. There is no, hey, let's go sit down. There's no uncomfortable. Some people are weird, man. They're just not good. They're not good at interaction, you know? So sometimes it's, do you mind if I come in? And they're like, okay, yeah, sure. Like it takes all that away, right? You say, let's go take some pictures. You're taking charge. You're moving around. And yeah, get to the table. If you pass by the table, set something on it every time. Set something there. Just a little cue that says, this is where we're sitting. You come back to that, okay? It makes it easy. You go back, you go pick up your thing at the table. Oh, do you mind if I sit? All of that, like, where should we sit? That just doesn't happen, okay? And sometimes people just are nervous when they have new people around them, and sitting down is a weird thing, you know? So take that and own it like that. So that's step 2. What's step 3?
Questionnaire.
Questionnaire, right? And if you don't have the info, get the info off the bill. That's part of it too, right? Questionnaire info, and then start the proposal, right?
Yeah.
Or start creating the proposal, sorry. Step 4.
Proposal.
Proposal. If you've done step 1 through 3 well, the proposal is just like info. And it's good info, but it's just, look at all these good things, here's the price.
You can use the proposal to qualify them all the way through it. You know,
100%.
just keep qualify, and then close them on the payment. I mean,
Yeah, it becomes a pretty easy thing. It's like, hey, here's all the details behind what we just talked about, you know, with the solar. It helps make sense of what they just answered. It really does. When they're sitting there thinking, really, clean energy is less expensive than dirty energy, I'd like to see that. Well, now they're seeing it. Be prepared right now, though. Be prepared in step 3 to get that. How much is it? What's the catch? Like, it's gonna just plan on it being there. It'll be there. Okay. Step 4. We said step 4. Step 4 is the proposal going through it. And then step 5, just actually call step 5. It's a phrase. What's the phrase on step 5?
We need to get this application completed.
Almost.
Step is
The next step is,
yeah. say the next step is?
What's that?
I said, what would you say the next step is?
That's how I do it now. But it's you have to know. Like
The
it's
next step is this. Yeah, the next
Yeah.
step.
hey, the next step is we just got to make sure this application's filled out right. Let's go. We're working on a this is up and coming, by the way, but we're working on a really easy thing for this where we're trying to get it so it's a soft credit thing where it's basically like you basically text in like their name and birthday and we can get a pass fail off of that. It's not a full credit thing, but we're working on that. That would make this part really easy. It's not there yet, but the next step is fill out the application, go from here. Okay. As far as the process, they're going to vary depending on what finance tool you picked and stuff like that. So just know the tool and know that process so you can do it quick and easy. Okay. Pick one and know those. But that's the training, you guys, those 5 steps. 5 steps. Write them down. Make a printout. I can make a printout for you guys. In fact, I should as we're building out these trainings. I'll make a printout that just shows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and the steps. And I promise you, if you take those with you, it won't, your appointment won't derail. Like it won't, you'll know, like I'm on step 2 and I need to get step 3 going. And you'll just have to, okay, yeah, I have a questionnaire to go over. Like bring it right back. These 5 steps will keep it clean. They'll keep you in charge. They'll keep you closing, okay? And this is very trainable when you start hiring guys. Just get through the 5 steps, right? This is it, A to Z. You guys, this is the whole thing. For the amount of money we can make, this is a really easy job. Like, that's it. It's 5 steps, okay? That's it, you guys. That's the whole training today. Is those 5 steps. That's the A to Z, taking it from the beginning to the end. Do you have any questions before we jump off? We're 8 minutes over.
I'm good.
Got it?
Yep.
I'll tell you what's going to happen. You start training guys, and if the only thing they know is these 5 steps, they go out and close deals. And then they start learning about all the details, and their sales go down because now they're giving them all this info. And then you got to remind them, hey, it's the 5 steps. It's simple. Don't give them all that info, right? So you guys will see all this, but the 5 steps. That's it, guys. If you don't have any questions, I'll let you guys jump off. But Wally, do send me your utility bill for that one house. I have everything ready for it. I just want to make sure I have everything synced up just right.
Will do.
But yeah, I was holding off for the in-house one. But you know, they just told us it's going to take longer, like I said. So I'll send you something out and you can decide what you want to do with it.
Okay. Will do. See you guys.
All right, guys. Have a great
All
day.
right, guys, the next step is we just go off of this thing. Go off of this.
All right, see you guys.
Sure. Yeah.